I have spent £100 million on a footballer at Crystal Palace. It's not Fontana, though. It's not Fontana, though. I bet you won't even be able to guess the position I've signed a £100 million man in. Are you ready? I've signed a left-back. Yeah, I don't even know where to go from this. Should we just run the intro? I don't even know. What do you say? I'll explain in a second. How's it going, folks, and welcome back to episode number 31 of Park to Prem here with Crystal Palace. Today we have the start of season number 5 in charge. It is our 4th full season. It's our 3rd season in the Premier League, and after last year's 2nd place finish, we have Champions League football, the prospect of trying to win the league, and the mental expectations of Duan Jin resting on our shoulders. He wants the Champions League this year, and well, as you've seen from the intro, since yesterday's transfer special, I've splashed cash. Now, of course, if you didn't see yesterday's video, I recommend going in and checking it out. It was a slightly longer one, but it was one of those fun transfer adventures that we go on. Just to recap the signings we made that episode, we have Hornyak here, who is a Hungarian centre mid, 23 years old, really good potential, super duper well-rounded. Even the stuff he's not so good at, he's still pretty good at. I'm hoping he's going to be a big addition for us. And of course, the other man we signed for the first team last episode is Vassilo, who is a Maltese centre-back, 27 years old, can play defensive mid, professional personality, amazing physicals. I'm a big fan of him, but with those two signings, we still had a lot of money to spend. And well, between last episode and now, I've spent almost £200 million on 4 players. So I suppose the logical thing is to talk about them. We'll go from least expensive to most expensive just to keep the suspense high. The cheapest of the 4 players we picked up is Kevin Blondal. He is a Danish international striker, 19 years old. We picked him up for a measly £4.8 million. He's gone back on loan to Nordsjælland. I did just spot here. He's picked up an injury for 2 to 3 weeks, or 2 to 5 weeks, which is a bit of a shame. But I think we can all agree that for less than £5 million, he's a ridiculously good signing for the future. And well, he wasn't the only signing for the future we made, because we signed John Joe Bowyer. This guy was relegated with West Ham last year. Not ideal for him. The season before that, he had joined from Watford, where he played 24 championship games. We've signed him for his release clause. It means that West Ham make £500,000 loss on him. He's gone straight back on loan to West Ham. And as far as I'm concerned, he is a really good English prospect. Great mentals, good physicals, Wonder Kid media description. He's only 19. I'm hoping he is going to just improve and fulfill his potential. I wanted to get in a few more English players, and this guy, with his release clause, was a little bit of a no-brainer. So I feel like Bowyer and Blondal, signings for the future. We needed 2 signings for the now, and the first of these is for 63 million. It's an 18-year-old, and it's Talha Sabuk. Now, I've said he's the signing for now because he is the man who is going to be our Fontana, or at least that's what I'm hoping he's going to be. 18 years old, Turkish international, determined personality, can play pretty much anywhere down the middle. For us this year, he's becoming a roaming playmaker. Last episode, I spent a long time looking for a roaming playmaker. There wasn't one that really jumped out of the page at me, and so I've gone a little rogue, shall we say. We've gone a little bit unconventional, but I do think, like here, Talha could be immense. He was playing for PSG last year. They signed him for 16 million. I'm fully aware that I've given PSG 63 million pounds for him, but at 18 years old, he's got immense potential. His creativity is, well, it's insane, let's be honest. And especially in our system where a roaming playmaker needs to be good defensively, he ticks a lot of boxes. 13 tackling, 11 marking. His positioning is the real standout one, I suppose, at 15. And just as a reminder, this man's 18 years old. He's going to get regular first-team football this year. We're going to make him the main man as the roaming playmaker in the new tactic. I may have overpaid slightly. I think it's going to be an investment worth making. He's on £150,000 a week. It's a 5-year contract, but with an optional 3-year extension. Yeah, I really did throw a lot of money at him. So this guy, potentially contracted for 8 years, I hope he's going to live up to my expectations. And I suppose that brings us to the last of our new signings for over £100 million. Now, of course, Lorenzo Forti, our left-back of the last couple of years, a good left-back, not necessarily a great left-back, but with our change in system, the left-back's going to have a lot to do on his lonesome. And Sirik is a player who I've had my eye on for a little while now. Of course, this guy one of Liverpool's main players. Liverpool, by the way, last year in the Premier League, really struggled. Even with Erling Haaland in their team, they could only get Conference League football. And as a result, Jovan here wanted to leave. I've splashed the cash. £102 million for him. Now, this was mostly a signing where I wanted a left-back. He's one of the best left-backs in world football. And whilst he's probably not worth £100 million, I wasn't sure where else I was going to spend the money. So why not splash it on a position that we've now got locked down for probably the next 5 or 6 years with his addition. It weakens a divisional rival as well. Liverpool, of course, only won the Premier League a couple of years ago. And I think within our system, he is going to be absolutely remarkable. Or at least that's the plan. You guys can tell me if you think I've lost the plot, but ultimately, we've ended up signing one of the Premier League's best left-backs for £100 million. And yeah, I am a massive fan of him. So just looking at the pre-season billing, you can see here we are listed as favourites yet again. We were last year. I do believe, and having talked to some of you guys in the comments about it, that for some reason the media prediction really takes into account the finances that a club has rather than just a squad. It's kind of odd, I suppose, when you see that we're listed as the team predicted to finish first with only one player in the media Dream 11. That player, by the way, is Andreas Carlier, who I think we can all agree is pretty phenomenal. And this is the main man of our team. I feel like if he performs, we're going to do okay this year. Now, before we get too far into the season and the tactic and the game for today, which I believe is against Fulham, we should talk about the transfers on the outs. Of course, a lot of these happened in the transfer special. A lot of these were kind of in progress as we left things last time, but these deals have now gone through. You can see here, Sashi Daleman has gone to Hamburg in the end for £34 million. Originally, he was going to River Plate. He turned River Plate down. Hamburg came in with the next best offer. Elsewhere, Ulrich, of course, left last episode for £47.5 million. Graham Franklin never really fulfilled his potential. Still crazy, I think, to get as much money as we did for him. £24 million received there. Horvat, we received £23 million for. Cortazar was one of our hot prospects of the future who just hasn't lived up to what I thought he could be. We signed him, if we look here, for 215k. We've now sold him on for £19 million. Cheers, Olympiacos. They seem to have a lot of money. Van Vakaris left to go to Salzburg for 16.5. Colchado, who was one of our Peruvian prospects of the future, he just never quite made it. He left to go to Derby County for 14 million. And whilst we have spent a significant sum of money, our net spend for this year is actually less than last year's because of the amount of wheeling and dealing we've done. Moving on players who just aren't quite going to be good enough for the first team. And it does leave us in a position now where the transfer window is still open. I do still have 46 million in the bank. I still do have £200,000 left on the wages. We might not be done with signings yet. So going into this new season, we have the new system. We've talked about this a lot in episodes, so I'm not going to go over it too much again here, but you can kind of see how the new pieces of the puzzle fit into the team. Of course, we've got Horniak in at centre mid on attack. In the defensive mid, kind of roaming playmaker position, we're going to go with Talha. I do really like Talha as a signing. I know he's not as good as Fontana, but I think at 18 years old, his potential is amazing. And I think because he can play centre-back, he might have a little bit more of that defensive instinct about him that allows him to be that shield, I suppose, in front of our two centre-backs. Of course, Siric out on the left-hand side is a huge addition to our team. I wouldn't normally spend £100 million on a left-back, but to be honest, I wasn't overly happy with 40, but I wasn't sure we'd actually be able to replace him. When it became apparent that Siric was available, I decided to throw a lot of money at him. I'm hoping he's going to justify it. Within this system, he is going to be given so much attacking freedom. Lots of pressure on him really to perform because he's not been amazing for Liverpool over the years. And at the back, you might have noticed that Vassalo is on the bench right now, the Maltese centre-back, alongside Marcus Tullio. I do feel like he is the best man for the job. But just as a reminder, we've got players like McIntosh on the bench. The depth here just still exists. If we just compare McIntosh, you can see with Vassalo, there is a gap in quality. Vassalo is a big step up. Elsewhere on the bench, we've got players like Payrat, 40, David Lind, Woodward, Angelo Jr. Never really got any transfer bids for him over the summer, so it looks like he is going to be here to stay for this year at least. Toby Newton on the bench, Middleby and Severin kind of propping up the rear. I like our team. I like our depth. I feel like we've got some really, really good quality players now, but we've also got some really good young players for the future who I'm hoping are going to leave their mark on the first team this season. A couple of players that we loaned out that I do think are just worth mentioning. We'll be keeping an eye on them this year. The first is Nicolas Lozano. He's going to be going and playing in Spain for Almeria. He's a good player with some potential. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to fulfill it. I'm hoping that this really is going to be his breakout season. We only signed him for £1 million from Real Madrid, so if he doesn't kind of step out into his own, I'm hoping we can still make some good money off him. Elsewhere in the team, of course, Kayondo out on loan with Marseille again this year. This might be a slightly controversial one, but I think giving him regular first-team football, playing European football with Marseille, is just what's best for his development. He has, since last episode, signed a new contract with the club. It's £100,000 a week, which obviously for a player who is currently the backup goalkeeper is a lot, but it is also an 8-year contract. We've got him tied down with a 5-year deal plus an optional 3-year extension. Like Talha, I just felt it was important to get one of our best young players for the future tied down for the foreseeable future. Of course, we've got Diego Perez, who I'm curious to see how he gets on, out on loan at Leeds. He signed for us, you might remember, last year for £6.5 million. Gonna see how he does in the Championship this year. I think he could be a really, really good player. And Agueyi, I suppose, falls into a similar situation to Lozano, where I had high hopes for him. I still have high hopes for him, but I do need to start to see some development. And I know Agueyi has had some issues with injuries. He had a loan spell in Russia, which didn't really go to plan last year. This year, he's playing for Troyes. He's playing in Liga. Hopefully, he's going to get that regular football that I really need him to get. And fingers crossed, toes crossed, he's going to stay fit. So that is where everything is at right now. I feel like we're in a good position going into this new season. In terms of my personal objectives, I would love to try and win the league this year. We got close to winning it last year. We finished second. I feel like we have strengthened the team. Maybe I didn't get in all the immediate strength I wanted, but what I do think we've done with our signings is really added to our current crop of players. Vassalo and Siric really add a bit more experience to the team, 2 players already in their primes. And elsewhere with the likes of Talha, Sabuk, and also Horniak, we've got players who are going to be here for the long term, players who are really, you know, they have a chance to forge a real dynasty at this club. And when you look at the average age of our forwards, this is a kind of attacking and midfield lineup that really isn't going to be at its absolute best for another year or two. And that is pretty exciting. So first game of the season, we are taking on Fulham. In terms of the rest of the team, alongside the new signings, we've got De Silva and Carlier playing as the shadow strikers, with Gurajaga leading the line. Of course, we've got this changing system this year. Excited to see how it goes. If it doesn't work out, it's not like we have signed a load of players and sold a load of players that doesn't allow us to revert back to what worked last year. But I do feel like something like this just gives our players a bit more creative freedom, a bit more room for expression. And overall, I think it really allows our abundance of attacking players to shine in a really exciting way. Zambergen is going to be out on the right-hand side in the defensive positions alongside the new additions. We've got Ruiz in goal. He is coming here off the back of a good World Cup with Spain. He played pretty well in that competition. You can see here he got a 7.16 rating for Spain at the World Cup, which for a goalkeeper is more than good enough. Tulio, of course, one of our big leaders in the dressing room alongside De Silva, is going to be playing in at the back. And at right back, we have got Claudio Sanchez this year, who, of course, is playing as an inverted wing back, which is going to be a little bit interesting. With this system, I need him to tuck in just to support the roaming playmaker. And to be honest, the more I look at him, the more I'm convinced he can be a good roaming playmaker. Sorry, not roaming playmaker. Inverted wing back for us out on the right-hand side. His crossing's never been one of his big strengths, but if he comes inside, his passing's good, his vision's good, his physicals are decent, his reading of the game is very, very solid. And yeah, I'm excited to see what Claudio Sanchez can do for us. I guess the big issue for him is, can he stay fit? He's had a few issues with injuries lately. I feel like with the first game of the season, there's always some nerves, but realistically here against Fulham, I should be calling for a demolition job. This should be a game where we just look like the better team, and I'm really hoping that we're going to see that. I want to see a confidence about us, a swagger about us, almost an arrogance, but to the point where we do show them some respect, but we take our opportunities going forward. And well, given the fact we've not seen anything for the first 23 minutes, maybe I should be concerned. Ball whipped in towards Vassalo. Gorojaga couldn't beat the first man, but he still has got the ball here. He brings it forward. He hits it. He forces a save out of McBride. First highlight of the game goes our way. It's been maybe a little long in the making for my own liking, but it's still not too bad. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to make anything of the second corner here. De Silva's ball in, cleared away. Of course, De Silva rocking the captain's armband, in the process, actually, of signing a new contract, which is really, really good for him. A player who is, you know, one of the more senior figures in the dressing room, De Silva, currently looking like he's going to sign a contract, I think, on £150,000 a week, which is a really good deal for us. It's much less than I feared we might have to pay him. We might have a chance here. Zambergen, Sanchez, playing that inverted wing-back role, wide to Talha. And, well, that, ladies and gentlemen, that is what 63 million pounds gets you. Questionable passing at best. Zambergen, Carlier. Options in the middle. He's going to bring it forward, Carlier. Lays it off to Gurajaga, who goes down. It falls to De Silva. I thought for a second we might even get a penalty there, but it's not being given. It's a great opportunity for De Silva. He started last season amazingly. Definitely slowed down in the goal-scoring front as the season went on, De Silva. Right now, though, both shadow strikers really shining in our current system. They are getting a lot of joy in the middle. You know, De Silva and also Carlier, two players who are incredible going forward, and they are running the show right now as Carlier is in possession. And, well, I thought for a second he was going to score a wonder goal right on cue. Unfortunately, the effort goes just wide. But we are straight into another highlight here. And I've just noticed they've got Henia in their team, haven't they? Did I sell Henia to them? Where is Henia? I saw him. There he is, our former man. Sold for 20 million. Right now, we've kept him very, very quiet. Siric to De Silva. De Silva, Gurajaga. What a defence-splitting pass. But I think it's offside. I mean, the ball there by De Silva is absolutely mad. Of course, with this system, we don't play with a left winger as such. De Silva is the left-sided shadow striker. So almost like a lopsided 4-2-3-1. But you will see here that, you know, he will get into the channels. I'll tell you what, that's ridiculously close. I don't even know if that's offside. At the break here, it's 0-0. They've not had a shot. We've got an XG of 1.66. We've had 60% of the ball. I mean, look at the XG story. We just need to take an opportunity. We've created a lot. Now we need to show some killer instinct, some finishing at the end of it all. The average ratings, you know, for the players, they're very good. The players are playing well. We just need a goal. And suddenly, 15 minutes into the half, I'm going to make changes. What am I going to change, you might ask? It's a great question. I'm going to bring in Severin for Zambergen and Horniak. I'm going to take off. And what do I want to do? You know what? I'm going to bring in Angelo Jr. to play as the centre mid on attack alongside Talha. I am also going to get shouty. There's 15 minutes left here, and I've got to go more attacking, haven't I? We've created so much, and yet we've scored so little. Yeah, it's not been great. Let's get the distribution quicker, and let's get it to the fullbacks and the centre-backs if we can. Just to build out from the back. I want to try and invite them to press forward with what remains. We have a corner. De Silva whips in. Vassilo is under it, but can't get there. There might still be another opportunity here, though. Can De Silva keep the play alive? He can. Tullio at centre-back to Junior. Fresh off the bench to De Silva. Talha. Severin. Heads it through. I think Gurajaga might have been offside there. I think that's why he didn't try and get to the ball. At least I'm hoping that's the explanation for it, because otherwise he's just not tried. Big header by Vassilo. Now with Junior. Wide to Severin. The two subs linking up. Sanchez in that inverted wing-back role. Plays through Carlier. Can he finish it? He lays it off to Gurajaga. It's blocked. It falls to Junior and is saved again. How is this 0-0? How is this 0-0? We've absolutely dominated them. And there's not quite an end product there. And I don't really know what to say. Gurajaga. I mean, he's going on his own. He's tackled by Vale. I've got one sub left in my back pocket, and I think it's time to bring in Middleby. Get up top, son. 7 minutes left here. I mean, we need a goal. We need something. We need anything. Is anything going to happen? Football Manager, please. We have a late corner here. Again, De Silva whips it in. It's headed away. I mean, if they score on the counter-attack, am I allowed to just cry? Am I allowed to have a sulk and a tantrum? Is that justifiable? Spencer's bringing it forward for them. He crosses it back post. Don't let Diallo get his header on it. I knew wearing the Toronto Maple Leaf shirt after they bottled Game 7. I don't know, they didn't really bottle Game 7. But I just knew it wasn't a smart move. Is that their first shot of the game? It's their first shot on target of the game. I want to cry. I feel like laughing might be the best solution, because if I don't do that, I will have a breakdown. I will have a cry. I mean, I don't even feel like that's an issue with the system. We've created so much in that game, and then they've just got up the other end and countered with their one shot. What rating did their goalkeeper get? He got an 8.5. I just feel sad. Henia gets one over on Crystal Palace. It's not helping my emotions right now. I mean, right, what do you say after that? Disappointing? I mean, I feel like we deserve to win it, but that is the way that Football Manager and football is sometimes. We didn't take our opportunities. We live to regret them. We're not going to change the tactical system after one game, but I will be the first to hold up my hands and say, that was not ideal. Now, of course, this year we have got the Champions League going on. We enter at the group stage. The next episode will probably be coming back with the group stage drawn. It might be that we come back for a Champions League match. I kind of want to do our first game in the Champions League. I feel like that's quite a big occasion, so maybe I'll see you guys then for that. If you've enjoyed today's video, do drop a like on it. Let me know what you thought of the new signings. Have I lost my mind spending all that money on Sirich? I'm not going to panic too much. At the end of the day, we pushed for an attacking goal in that game. They hit us on the counter-attack. That happens sometimes. It wasn't even a bad team performance. Their goalkeeper just won them the game, basically. Take care. I'll see you guys again tomorrow for more. And until next time, it is me, Jack. And I'll see you on the next one. I'm out.